What is up, you guys? It is your boy Keeper Raw. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. I know that sounded a little bit positive, but the topic today is a little negative because Xbox has just recently got rid of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. And I'm saying they're getting rid of them because I highly doubt that Phil Spencer resigned without getting a nudge from Xbox. He has been there for so long, it's hard to fathom him just leaving out of a whim because there was no prior hint to him leaving. Xbox isn't doing too well in the gaming world, but they keep acquiring these companies and not releasing games. So what are you to expect? Phil Spencer can't release games for Xbox, bro. That's not how that works. He can be the president. It doesn't mean that he ultimately makes the decisions. You guys know that even though there's a vice president, that's your punching bag. The vice president of a company is the punching bag for the investors, because they can hide behind the face. Sarah Bond is just a punching bag. Okay? People might not like these people, but ultimately that's what they're there for. That's why they get paid a lot of money, because they're the ones that take a lot of the heat. I don't think Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond did anything wrong. I think they did probably what they were told, and that's what we were fed. I don't think that they should have been kicked off, and I definitely think that Phil Spencer could have stayed there and Xbox could have just changed their mindset. This is an Xbox problem. This isn't a Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond problem. This is an Xbox identity crisis. They don't know whether they want to be gaming or the next most fabulous scam. They don't know. Because here recently, they seem more and more like they just want to get money. More and more like they just want to scam people. That's all I'm getting from Xbox. Because anytime I think about Xbox, I think about Game Pass. And it's just a subscription service. And it's all right, bro. It saves you money when you don't want to drop $70. But there's a reason games are $70. It's because they can excuse it. Because we blindly consume. So they can just say, oh, well, they'll pay $17 a month if they think that they're getting a good deal. So when they release a $70 game on Xbox and then they say it's releasing on Game Pass, you probably are going to go get Game Pass. If you're like me, you get it and delete it. But that's not most people. Most people forget that they have an Xbox Game Pass and are either too lazy or are hopeful that Xbox is going to release a quality game. Let's continue. So Xbox gets rid of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, and then they introduce this lady. We hadn't really heard her name very much before in Xbox, which is crazy, or Microsoft, period. But she's the president of Core AI. She was the president of Core AI product at Microsoft. Core AI? Hold up, what? AI? Yeah. This is becoming a problem, y'all. This is becoming an issue, and quickly. All it's taken is a few years, and it's just becoming a bigger and bigger problem. Prior to joining Microsoft, Sharma served as a chief operating officer at Instacart, not gaming related, eating related. Vice president product at Meta, non-gaming related. Sharma serves on the board of Home Depot and Coupang, non-gaming related. How do you not deal with games and then you come into the gaming world as essentially one of the leaders of one of the biggest companies in this world? It doesn't make any sense. The reason that companies like Xbox lose money is because they keep investing in people who are not invested in what they want money from. Look, if you're going to hire somebody for gaming, you need to make sure that they know about gaming, because gaming has blown up so much over these past few years that it's honestly easy money. If you release a remaster of, let's say, Fallout New Vegas, a remake, you're going to make bank. Oblivion showed us that, because back then games were a whole different monster and beast that they are today. Today, it's all about what subscription service can be provided inside the game, what DLC can be given inside the game. And that's disgusting. Not every single game needs monetization. Bro, it's not even a multiplayer game and they want you to buy skins. Explain that, how that makes any sense. It's an L. If I open a single player game and I immediately see a shop, which almost every Xbox single player game has for some weird reason, bro, it blows my mind. Xbox, you don't need a new VP. You need somebody to talk to you about who you are, because you are lost, bro. You need to get put in a hospital bed for like a year. You need to take a break. You need to take a long smoke break, because you don't have an identity. You're not even a gaming monster anymore. You're just a service provider. You're like a cell phone service, bro. You're like AT&T for gaming. You're just there. You kind of just exist. You're not going above and beyond, but you're just there. And you're raising your prices every year. You don't really do anything different, but you just raise the prices here and there. Think about it. They just raised the price of Game Pass. What did they offer us? That's more. They just said it costs us more. It costs you more, but then you invest in AI, which raises the price of RAM, GPUs, computer parts as a whole. But doesn't the AI run on the what? Oh, I get this loophole. You spend money and I pay for your spent money, so you keep making more money. That's the loophole Xbox has created. It's disgusting, bro. That is their problem. This lady right here that's only played 30 games in the last month, bro, come on. Somebody logged into her account, played these games. Or they told her, hey, we're going to have you at Xbox. See if you could play some games to suck most of the time, because the people that are making these games or these books don't even know the source material. She don't know the source material gaming. What is this source material, bro? Vampire Survivors, Minecraft, Diablo, it looked like it's not even like Fallout 4. It's not even Fallout New Vegas, which is one of the people's most talked about games. When they bring up Fallout 3 and 4, it's Fallout 76, bro. Give me a break. Don't tell me you know about games when this is the only Fallout in your library, bro. Vampire Survivors is the hardest thing you got on here. And Ball Pit is good. And again, they switched the leadership, but I think they're going to dive into AI deeper than they need to. They bought Bethesda in 2021. They acquired Bethesda, and Bethesda hasn't released the Elder Scrolls. Bro, how long has it been since we've seen Elder Scrolls come out? I mean, other than online? Look at this. 2011. It is 2026. 15 years of no Elder Scrolls. 15 years. I don't want to play an MMO RPG. I don't. I'm not in the mood, bro. Sometimes I just want to come home from work. I want to log in and I just want to play a single player game and just chill, bro. Chill in their world, in their creative mind. They released this game, Starfield. I beat that game, man. And I beat that game because I felt bad that I spent my money on it and it was a disappointment. And I had already passed the 2-hour mark just by getting my first ship and flying off the planet. Man, that hurt my soul. To be so excited for Bethesda's comeback for a new IP and it just being so mid. So disgustingly mid. Bro, you spend all this money on advertisement, on saying how good you are. You're not showing us that, Xbox. Xbox also bought Activision in 2022. This right here is about all that's come out. Maybe Diablo 4 counts as well. This game is trash. This game is trash. This game is trash. And these are their biggest bets. Call of Duty is their biggest bet. That is the reason why they wanted Activision. Because they're a massive publisher and Call of Duty consistently gets a crazy amount of monetization from their in-store from their gaming store, from their COD point system, which another thing is a disgusting mess. It's anti-consumerism. Tango, GameWorks. Xbox makes so much money. Microsoft as a whole makes so much money. And they closed Tango GameWorks in 2024. Tango made Hi-Fi Rush, helped out with The Evil Within, which is a great game, just undervalued and underappreciated, bro. But those games are so good, and then they closed the studio down. They don't even try to help them out, bro. They don't even say, well, you can come to Bethesda. No, they just shut down the studio, and Krafton Games came around and bought them out. This is ridiculous. You spend $1 billion on Activision, release Call of Duty with no adjustments made, and then you sell off something that's doing good? Same thing with PlayStation. What is your problem with Bluepoint, bro? Did you lose your brain? These companies are so dependent on nothingness, bro. They want to claim that they're the best, but they don't prove that they're the best. They don't have to, because we just mindlessly consume their garbage. Look at this. This is the statistic about Xbox players. This is when they first started Game Pass. This is not an accurate representation of the amount of people that have bought an Xbox Series console. This is an active representation of people that play Game Pass. Because everything is an Xbox now, even your TV and your cell phone. Do you know that? Did you know that when you bought an Apple phone, that you were also buying an Xbox? You know when you bought an Android, you're also buying an Xbox? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I bought an Xbox. You didn't buy no Xbox, boy. What you bought is a scam. Their advertisement is quite literally a scam. This is not an Xbox. PlayStation is not an Xbox. Your Asus ROG is not an Xbox. None of that is an Xbox. You know what is an Xbox? Your console. Your name. Your responsibility to gamers, bro. Their identity now has become the Game Pass, and that's where it's all failing. Somebody that was recently president of an AI company that's a part of Microsoft or a Core AI isn't going to solve the issue. They got forced out. They dug their own grave. Xbox has dug their own grave. And that is so disappointing to see as a gamer, because games like Gears of War, Halo, I mean, even Rise, Son of Rome, bro, was crazy. I love that game. Think about what they could do with Elder Scrolls. Think about the money that they have, but they're not willing to do it. Think about, they own Obsidian too. And all that Obsidian has provided us is with Avowed and the Outer Worlds. And both of those games are mid. I hate to be like that, but those games are mid. They are all right games that are mid. They don't burst a bubble. They don't explore the most creative thing you've ever seen. It's rinse and repeat safe. Rinse, repeat, and safe. The reason these companies like Xbox have to play it safe is because they don't know how to play anything at all except safe. Back then, they would take a gamble. Their gamble is with Game Pass. They've invested so much money in Game Pass that now they have to play it safe, because if they lose a lot of money on a game, they essentially wipe out a ton of profit. Microsoft doesn't need as much money as you think. Microsoft still makes more money than Sony. But Sony consistently releases exclusive games. People like to hate on Sony for having exclusives, but at least when you buy a PlayStation, you know you're going to get some games. You know you're going to get a decent game at least. Wolverine is coming out in September. They got God of War. Remasters coming. Remakes. It's just not right, man. Xbox, don't let Game Pass determine how you operate, and don't let AI determine how you move forward. AI is not going to solve your problem. It's only going to dig the grave deeper. AI lacks human creativity. It is a robotic form of media that thinks it knows how humans react. But the only reason that people consume AI is because it's so common now. You don't even know when you're watching it. AI in itself is anti-consumerism. Because RAM prices, PC gaming prices, everything has shot up with the blowing up of AI. This needs to stop. Xbox, you're as good as dead if you do this. You will not bring value to the consumer, and that's what you will fail. With all that being said, guys, I hope you leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you have the same sentiment, because I believe that AI right now is anti-consumer. I don't think it provides a good enough service to completely take over what we know and love. This lady right here, I'm not even going to say her name. I hope, man, she doesn't come and just ruin Xbox or switch it all to AI. Which she said she didn't. But why would you get rid of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and hire somebody that has no experience with games? Unless your switch is to non-gaming. Buying Activision and Bethesda and then hiring somebody that makes AI? Good lord, man. Xbox, boo! Who's this guy up on the stage? Because it ain't the Xbox we know and love. This is Booty Box. Booty Smelly Box. This is what they are providing. Smelly. Nasty. Unlikable. All the nasty words I can think of. Leave a like and subscribe, man. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know if you're optimistic about this or if you're kind of on the fence about this lady. Because I am definitely on the fence after seeing that list of games, man. And if you haven't tried Ball Pit, go play that. See you guys.